Hello, distinguished professors, colleagues, and friends. My name is Geng Tian from the Faculty of Creative Technology and Heritage, University, Malaysia, Kelantan. I am honored to have the opportunity to share my research findings with all of you at the first International Visual Conference on Human Futures. Next, I will deliver today's presentation focusing on the topic Inheritance and Innovation, the digital visual translation of Confucian moral philosophy in Nezha 2 and its positive energy orientation for youth culture. I will introduce my paper from this path. First, introduction. The rapid development of digital technology. Animated films have become key carriers of cultural communication. Nezha 2 has achieved remarkable results in the terms of box office and the reputation demonstrating its strong influence. As the core of traditional Chinese culture, Confucian moral philosophy contains rich value concepts. The use of digital technology in animation to realize the visual translation of Confucian moral philosophy can not only inherit traditional culture, but also inject positive energy into youth culture. Identify the digital visual elements in the film that embody Confucian moral philosophy. Analyze the mechanism by which these elements influence young people's values, and propose strategies to promote the integration of traditional culture and digital art to guide youth culture. Research problem. Existing studies on the integration of Confucian moral philosophy and animated films, particularly Nezha 2, lack systematic exploration of how digital visual technologies translate abstract Confucian moral concepts into perceivable visual symbols and fail to clarify the mechanism through which this visual translation influence young audience value, cognition, and behavioral tendencies. Literary review. Zhang Pingxi and Wang Icohf proposed the theory of fluid narrative of good and evil, pointing out that contemporary animation breaks through the traditional binary framework of good and evil through three mechanisms. Liu Yanbing systematically identifies the specific manifestations of Confucian five constants virtues in Nezha 2. Framework 1. Visual narrative for moral education. 2. Fluid narrative of good and evil. Key concepts: Confucian moral philosophy. 2. Digital visual translation. Implementation. Phase 1. Framework construction and theoretical preparation. Phase 2. Film content analysis, data collection. Phase 3. Data processing and conclusion refinement. Results. First, the digital visual transformation path of Confucian moral philosophy in Nezha 2. Ethical coding of character symbols which anchor moral types through visual traits. 2. Moral embodiment of sense special effects which conveys moral connotations through dynamic visuals. 3. Dialectical presentations of narrative structure which strengthens moral cognition through the fluidity of good and evil. Results. Projecting cognition of Confucian moral concepts. Harvest familiarity, Ren, benevolence, M equal 3.78, with 71.82% of respondents reporting familiar or very familiar. Lower familiarity, E, righteousness, M equal 3.09, with only 35.45% of respondents reporting familiar or very familiar. Moderate familiarity, Li, priority M equals 3.25 with 39.09% of respondents reporting familiar or very familiar. Perception of Confucian elements in Nezha 2. The change in willingness to help others corresponding to Ren benevolence M equals 3.69 is the most significant. Their awareness of respecting others and the courage to face difficulties shows moderately positive changes. After watching the film, young people's values show positive changes. The study positioned digital technology as a core participant in the communication of Confucian morals, point out that relevant technologies lower the threshold for understanding traditional morals. Further researchers should expand the sample size and include diverse groups, such as international audience. Further works may focus on comparing Nezha 2 with other domestic and international animated works to identify universal and unique strategies for digital visual translation of traditional moral concepts. Thank you for your listening.